Visit us at podlanderpresents.com to find information on all of our shows. Okay, now it's recording. So now we're back. That was weird.
Should we just start over?
Yeah, let's begin. I have the fake can sound, so no worries.
I can't believe you're lying to your listeners like this. I'm canceling my Patreon.
Welcome to Podlander, Drunkcast, and Outlander podcast. I'm Allison.
I'm Julie.
And that's Ruth.
Hi.
Hey, Ruth.
This is take 2. So that's how things are going. How we started, how it's going. Ruth is here with us both because she is a person who, like us, cares a lot about costume design and has wonderful thoughts about the costumes of Outlander, but also because we just recorded our episode on the third episode of Karen Peary for Girls Just Want to Solve Crimes. So if you want to listen to us talk about crimes being solved, which Ruth solved all on her own.
I love to solve crimes. That's the name of the show.
You just wanna.
I just wanna.
She solved it without actually watching the show, which is really quite an accomplishment. You can do that over on that feed. But now, no, we're talking about costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outlander season 7A, the first half of season 7.
Episodes 1 through 8. We are going to talk more about costumes when we do our live show on September 30. Please come at the Oasis, starting at 11:59 a.m. because it's not even noon. But please don't show up too much earlier than that because
we can't let you in.
The bar doesn't actually open until noon, so it's just for the bit. We are calling it Drunkcast Live the Musical because we're going to try to do more than usual musical bits, but that's not why. It's because we are being joined by a KJ, and after we do the live show, we'll do a couple hours of Drunkcast karaoke. So please come sing some songs or don't and just hang out. There will be bits.
Definitely.
Will you be mad if everyone sings the Skyboat song at karaoke?
No, I think that would be the most fucking hilarious thing I'd ever heard.
Just up next.
Every single.
Up next, Ruth, the Irish Hammer, singing "Surprise" the Skyboat song,
And
in the style of Outlander.
after that, who's up next? Oh, it's Kiki the Wise singing the Skyboat song. Next is Jenna Polkowski singing "I've Got a Lovely Bunch of Coconuts." Anyway, you should come join us. We will talk more about costumes in the live show as we always do. But we were so into some of the costumes this season that we wanted to make sure that we gave them a little bit extra juice. So we're each going to talk about some of our favorite either complete looks or individual costume pieces from this season, as well as some love for season 7 blue.
Yeah, man.
Because, man, I really love that season 7 blue. I have a theory about it.
Oh, I have a theory about it too. What's your theory?
I want your theory first.
Okay, my theory is it's indigo. Because I think that's like a New World plant that would have been.
Oh.
I should have done a Google about this because last time you talked about season 7 blue on the podcast, I was like, I wonder if that's indigo, but I did not Google it. So
That's interesting. And makes total sense.
I love that theory.
what's your theory?
My theory is that we see so much of that color in the big house pre-burning and then see a ton of it in Lallybroch post-burning. And so I just have sort of shifted like the place that is home from the big house to Lallybroch because the Frasers are on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So that was sort of my
Oh,
thought.
that's a great point.
But then home is just always where the heart is, right? Which is
yeah.
why so many of them are wearing season 7 blue in both timelines.
Yeah.
That's my theory. Julie, do you have a theory?
I have a theory, and that's that color fucking rules because, as you can see, I use it in all of my decorating.
It looks good.
Gaston.
Okay, important question. Did you set out to quote Gaston,
No.
or do you realize it after the fact?
As I was saying it, I was like, that's what Gaston says about antlers in my
Okay.
favorite line in Beauty and the Beast.
Now you're in a Gaston, but earlier today, Julie tried to limit us to 1 egg.
Not 5 dozen?
For that, you'll need to listen to Karen Peary, episode 3. But yeah.
But yes, I
But it's a
love
great
that
shade of
color.
blue.
I love the teal. I got a couch that is that color. Like
Yeah.
my entire living room is kind of built around that color.
When we
love
were
it.
watching episode 8, I wore season 7 blue and the color of Julie's dining room. Season 7 blue on top, the color of Julie's dining room on bottom. It was unintentional, but pretty righteous.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I can't remember the show ever having a color story that's quite that consistent.
No.
Like there were lots of obviously the visual elements of the story have always been great, and the time in Paris in particular was like really they were firing on all cylinders. But other than those coats, which hardly counts.
No.
I feel like we don't usually get a color that's not the Fraser Tartan colors.
Or like that's a team color, right?
Right. It's like it's laced through the whole season through both timelines. Very cool.
What was Hank's wife's name in Breaking Bad and the purple? Remember purple and her thing?
Is she Marie?
Yes, Marie's purple. It felt a little bit like that, like they were intentionally using it as part of the story.
Yeah. So I really appreciated that. And it was just fun. I felt like the meme of Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood pointing at the TV every time I saw that blue.
Yeah.
Just like,
it's good.
That's it. Season 7 blue.
That's it.
And they all look great in it. Maybe it's just that. Maybe they just figured out there's a color that everybody in the show looks great in. Mm-hmm. And they all also look great while covered in blood. So there's that. They've got that going for them too. All right. Let's talk about a couple of the individual pieces. Julie, you pick first. Pick a costume or costume element that you would like to discuss.
I am obsessed with Dr. Denzel's pinafore/apron. Ruth gave me the word to use, pinafore. I had never thought of that. But as we were saying, when I think of a pinafore, I think of like a young girl, like an apron, 2 buttons. This one has that really interesting one button in the middle of the chest with the peaked shape. And I'm wondering what's its function? I know it's for blood, right? Because he's a doctor, but like, how did this come to be? How did this shape come to be? Does it increase its usefulness somehow? Does Denzel have nothing but shirts with a button right in the middle of the chest?
Well, I think they are all wearing like button-up shirts all the time.
So he would already have a button.
Yeah, so
there.
I wonder if it's like just practical. Like you already have a button, you only have to make one new buttonhole on your sheet.
Fascinating. And easy to make because it's just a big square.
But it looks great.
It looks so cool.
It looks really cool.
Because his clothes are darker colors, like his jackets, and he wears a darker vest, like a kind of dark gray or black vest all the time, Quaker style.
Yeah.
But then he's got this really severe triangle shape of the white pinafore coming down from the middle, and then you'll see him later with that cool flat brim hat, and somehow those two shapes kind of feel of a piece somehow, like it's unlike anybody else on the show.
Yeah, it's really geometric. It's really striking, and nobody else has that. You're right.
I loved it, and every time I see him in the hat, I get even more excited about it. So there's a lot of great costuming this season, but I was particularly taken by Dr. Denzel.
Yeah, I've been sitting over here Googling, trying to see if I can find any reference that they might have used, and I'm coming up short. I'm sure they do have an inspiration from somewhere, but it was really cool. The shape is really cool. I also like the sharpness of those lines offset of the roundness of his hat and the really flat brim. I think that's really cool. And also, he's just very, like, that actor is just very elegant. Like, he moves really elegantly. Joey Phillips is his name. So there's something like almost graceful about all those clean lines.
Reminds me a little bit,
as opposed to Claire's all rumpled,
of Claire's monk costume in season 6.
Oh yeah,
with the geometric shape and like the kind of like you could almost imagine it cut out 2-dimensional style in like a children's book with like contact paper.
Yeah,
right, like very clean lines, very geometric. And so it's kind of a weird callback to me to Claire's monk costume, which is maybe one of my favorite of the show forever.
Oh yeah,
from beginning.
Which you're still seeing some elements of that aesthetic in how she looks throughout this season, even though it's not anywhere near as
striking.
Severe.
Right. So yeah, Dr. Denzel for me.
Yeah,
good job, costumers.
Really, really great choice. What about you, Ruth?
Okay, so my first one is the scene where Bree and Roger are about to go back through the Dick Rocks. You guys have talked about how they're going to blend in the future as part of a cult. And I was like so surprised that they were in sort of regular, like revolutionary times clothes, because Claire took like such care to do her Batman costume when she knew she was going to go back to the past. And I'm like, you don't want to make her like a shift dress or something like
that could pass for 1969
a little
or
bit
whatever.
better. And because in that scene, Claire is wearing this jacket that I loved so much, but it looks like a jean jacket. It looks like Levi's. Like it's in that blue, and it's just like a very buttoned up, very like collar, and a lot of like strong seams. And I'm like, why don't you like switch jackets with her? Like,
Yeah.
that could blend in.
Yeah.
But I really liked the jacket that Claire was wearing in that scene.
That's a good jacket. That is, let me pull up a picture of that one just to refresh us.
And to me, it looked just like so much more modern too than what Brie was wearing.
I just thought it was really strange that they didn't change it all either. Like
Yeah.
it was.
Because that had been such a thing when Claire came back.
Do you think they had clothes in their bag for when they landed at whatever modern Dick Rock it was so that they could just change right there?
Maybe.
Because didn't they were carrying something with them, weren't they? Or was it just the kids?
I can't remember.
Did they have a bag with them?
Yeah, it just seems strange that like they didn't explicitly address it.
Yeah, like it wasn't chatted about after we watched the Batsuit.
So many of those Batman scenes.
No, they have nothing. There is no bag.
And like, what are they doing about money when they get there?
Musket balls, bitch.
Just stopping at a gas station, like, hey, I have this gold.
Yeah, no,
so
they don't have anything with them.
I mean, they cut Roger's hair,
Yeah.
so there's that. And he could maybe pass, maybe. If he took off his hat.
Took off the belt, took off the tricorner, and took off the belt, maybe.
Yeah, that's like trench coat vibes. Like that's pretty.
And if Brie took off her coat, maybe she could too. Maybe.
I don't know. That's a long ass skirt, but you know, prairie shit was kind of hot back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. However,
The kid,
Jim, no.
Jim is screwed.
Is that an ascot?
Yeah.
You're gonna get bullied.
Lady Colonial Williamsburg.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a great first pick. What should my first pick be before we do another round? I'm going to go with Claire's war surgeon blouse when she's captured at Fort Ticonderoga with the flowers on it. There aren't, we were talking about this as we were reviewing to do the podcast. There aren't a ton of patterns that aren't plaid on the show. Certainly not since France, right? In France, we had a lot of big florals and things. But this is, it's just, first of all, it looks incredibly comfortable.
Yeah.
It's like I want to walk around my house in the summer wearing that, like linen life.
Yes.
But it is just so like it's menswear influenced, like her monk costume. There's just something very modern about it
And vaguely clinical about it. I don't know if that's because of the color or it makes her look like a doctor.
It does,
For lack of a better term. A lot of her stuff this year has had elements that call to mind like surgical coats and gowns and cuts and things.
Yeah.
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 Because it's not a floral. They're like little sort of square starbursts. And then, I mean, it's also got like the collar feels like if she was in the 40s, like if she had gone back in time wearing that blouse,
Yeah.
that would not have been surprising to me.
I also love the detail that they have here of the wrinkles up the arm. Like she's
Yeah.
obviously been wearing this a lot, rolling the sleeves a lot, doing a lot of action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With her hair all tied back.
I love that hair tie. I love the way they use it.
Yeah.
I love that it looks both like intentional, like she did this on purpose to not only pull her hair back from her face, but to tie her ponytail back in with the same piece of fabric. But it also looks like both she just threw it on there and also that somebody like meticulously laid it. Exactly. Like there's one curl that comes out in the back and I'm like, kill me.
Yeah. Picturesque, but also totally cash.
Exactly.
Yeah. While we're on that subject, I'll also mention she's got a blouse that looks kind of buttons up the side, kind of like a lab coat. It's like that's also for scientist Barbie. I really like that one too. And Claire has also had some amazing jackets this season. So like Claire's top level. There's a quilted jacket. There's the indigo jacket you mentioned. There's a vest that she wears in our fake out hanging scene,
Oh yeah.
which does not seem like that would have been particularly common. That definitely looked like menswear to me.
It did. It reminded me of the costume that I wore when I played Festy in 12th Night.
Yeah.
Because a little like peplum coming
A
out of the
waistcoat.
yes, a little peplum coming out to make you go, okay, I see how this can be both menswear or women's wear. Like, but obviously not real normal for that time. I was thinking about it when you showed the photo. I was like, people don't just immediately look at her in that thing and go, witch. Oh, I guess they do.
All right. Julie, what about you? Second pick.
Second pick. Okay, so first was Dr. Denzel. Oh, well, I mean, I've been saying it the whole season. Ian's costume is without a doubt the most beautiful, the most
Do you
interesting.
want to talk about both of them, or do you want to talk about the red one specifically?
The red one specifically, because
that
when
dark
that
leather
red
vest.
shirt popped up, and I don't even remember what episode it was that the red shirt appeared, but it is just, it's almost like a pirate feel. Like because the blouse, the red shirt has kind of a blousey sleeve on it. And he's got the cuff on one arm, and it's
So early in the season, he's still wearing the like herringbone coat with a lighter striped shirt.
when they're still at the Ridge, right?
This is from when they're doing the Great Claire Caper first edition of
Where she
this
leaves the
season.
group.
yeah, where she's where she was on the boat. This is pre Bree and Roger leaving.
Right.
Then she still got that. I think that's the conversation where they talk about why he couldn't have kids if it was him, if it could possibly be him. That is still the herringbone and the lighter leather. So I think it's after our time. Oh, and it's still herringbone when the house burns down.
Okay.
So that one survives the fire at least. So maybe this is his summer look. It's for William and Ian's Woad Twip. He's also got the herringbone.
Oh, so he's still got the older costume on.
Yeah, it's with the blues and greens sky. So I'm wondering if maybe it's after he gets back from the village. But let's see it. Here we go. Oh, it's what he wears when he meets his kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's also a darker version of that vest. But God, also the actor they had playing that kid. But look at that belt. Look at the cuff was also with the herringbone. So yeah, maybe this is just his summer look.
I just love that shirt.
The rings on the collar
Oh my
are
God,
so
the vest,
cool.
that leather vest. Yes, everything about all of his costumes has always been so beautiful and considered to me. Like, I don't know, it just
There, we got to look at the front.
beautiful to look at. And thinking once again about reusing all of those pieces, like
Yeah, the cuff is the same. The knife is the same. I'm not sure about the belt because we couldn't really see what was under the coat ever. But the leggings look like they might be the same. But it's a new vest and a new shirt. But I love that cuff.
yeah, the silver cuff.
It's very
Is it
cool.
above or below his elbow? It's above his elbow, right?
Yeah. Here's another good shot from the front.
Yeah.
Like,
Gosh, that costume, just look at how beautiful it is. There's so much
and
going
he's got all
on.
of these beads, but he's also got that big crucifix.
It's just texturally speaking, so interesting. There's so many things that you just want to reach out and see what they feel like. And it's very textural and just beautiful.
Well, and you know what? He had this obviously life-changing experience for himself and then came back and was like, I'm back, but I found my look and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
You know, he could have gone entirely back to dressing the way that Jamie does, but, you know, with face tats.
Yeah.
But he could have grown his hair back, you know, and he didn't. And I find that very cool.
So that's me. Win forever.
Yeah. Here's one more. Here's his character portrait.
He's just so handsome.
Well, and there's the paint that he wears when he's fighting. That you'll see this in the finale. Ruth still has to watch the last 2 episodes, but it's like red, like just red paint all over his face. It's extremely cool and also terrifying. Terrifying. Okay, what about you? What's your second piece you want to talk about?
Okay, my second piece is the little knits, the mitts, the like hand warmers that Claire wears. Because they have this really nice diamond pattern. I think I'm on record about this. My hot take is I have beef with a lot of the knitwear in this show, where I think it's like always like too coarse. It's like just plain garter stitch and a really big gauge. And like certainly you would need functional clothing, but like I don't know. Sometimes you want something that like looks a little nicer, and with the like a lot of times the textures too like are functional. Like they make a stiffer fabric, they make it warmer, blah blah. Knitting talk.
Hell yeah.
But I think these mitts are like really beautiful, and it's nice to see just more style in the knitwear.
Yeah, these are, if you're checking the episode where they leave the ridge, Claire has them on while she's holding Adso, but she wears them in several other episodes too. But these like what are those called? Arm
Rider's
warmers?
gloves.
Yeah, wrist
Riders,
warmers,
or
like-
rider's gloves.
They're gorgeous, and the pattern is very cool. Did you notice any other knitwear that had sort of more impressive details?
Not that I can remember. Like all of the modern day knits are like cable-y
Is
and
this any better?
no, like to me that's like I'm looking at a plain garter stitch shawl which she wears all the time, which like is like would be normal to have that, but I think just like seeing some other, like you're not wearing your like homespun dress every day. Sometimes you're dressing up, so it's nice to see that in the knitwear
And
too.
I just realized we haven't mentioned the modern day stuff at all, and it's also good.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
what I'm bringing
Oh,
up.
you're okay.
right.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So I want to talk about the 80s a little bit in general, but I specifically wanted to mention Roger's school teacher drag when he's wearing that season 7 blue sweater, and he's got his but it's also like a collared sweater, and he's got his kilt on, he's got his sporran, and he's got really sharp socks, and he just like, I just really love that look.
Yes.
But I also, there's a coat of Brianna's that I think all of us would wear.
Yes.
That's striped with reds, and again with that season 7 blue. She has a beautiful paisley skirt that she wears with a turtleneck for her job interview that I thought was really great. All of Roger's flannels.
Yes.
I want
all of his
all of
sweaters.
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of them.
Jem's school uniform is good. He just looks like he's
Slightly uncomfortable and pissed about it.
yeah, totally. And then Buck.
Oh my God. Uncle Buck.
Buck's contemporary drag, which you will learn more about, is really pretty great. Also, Sophie Skelton looks great in a helmet.
Yes.
And shout out to the wig department because, man, the wigs have been great this season.
Yeah, they've gotten way better than they used to be. This season in particular, they were amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone's. Sam's, Kate's, Brianna's, I know, what's her name? Sophie's.
Yeah. But then also all of that short hair that Roger's making work for him.
Yeah.
And shitty Rob Cameron's terrible fucking hair. With he's got a little, he is really a douchebag about his product.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Which you use the product that works for you. No judgment at all. Just don't be a dick about it.
It kind of gives me the vibes from like George Clooney and Oh Brother Where Art Thou? He's like, I'm a Dapper Dan man. Like maybe there's a little bit of that going on. Little double barrel Cameron.
Yeah. That fucking guy.
Ugh.
All right. Is there anything else that we want to mention specifically?
No, I thought because of where the story is taking place right now in this part of season 7, we're seeing obviously a lot of soldier drag.
Oh,
which,
yeah.
of
We should
course,
talk about the historical costumes
which
briefly.
is all cool, and you see interesting little details and stuff. But because it all reads so much as same, like my eyes kind of start glossing over it a little bit.
See, I know there were some details that I got really into. I loved Simon Fraser's red coat because he was a general, so like I don't know. Piping was a different color.
And on his shoulder, he had epaulettes that looked like dicks. Somebody had it on the Slack. It's true. I will find it. Keep going.
I really liked, obviously the sexy quail costumes.
Yes! Those are
The
kind
Daniel
of
Morgan.
outside of the red coat thing. Well, you'll find out, but
I'm excited.
it's pretty fucking funny. And what is the reason why those costumes are made that way? What is the function that those are good clothes for snipers? Because it seems like it's too light. Like no real tree.
I mean, they are real. Like,
Yep.
Let's see. Rifleman uniform. Revolutionary War.
An image search.
I'm sure that, you know what, someone is going to hook me up with the right source for this. and I'll be able to talk about it on the live show. But I'm having a hard time finding
The rifleman
linen
stuff.
hunting shirt, a backcountry garment which came about in the American frontier in the years prior to the American Revolution. The garment was synonymous with the American frontier. The hunting shirt was not adopted as a uniform of the Continental Army until 1776. No dress can be cheaper nor more convenient, as the wearer may be in cool and warm weather and warm and cool weather by putting on underclothes. Besides which, it is a dress justly supposed to carry no small terror to the enemy, who thinks every person dressed so is a complete marksman.
As in, you can see us, bad news for you.
I was going to ask what hunting shirt meant, but it's just...
Hold up.
That's actually
shirt that
really
hunters
cool because
wear.
that's part of the idea is
Yeah.
I'm not blending into the woods. I want you to see me before I snipe you from afar.
Just so you know what we're talking about, Ruth.
Yeah,
Because
just so you know.
you'll see it in action.
Yes.
But it's linen life.
I do like to live the linen life.
I do too. I'm living it right now.
I do as well. But yeah, it's white or like cream linen with like a darker fringe all around it. And Amelia called it sexy quail.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the most distinct of the historical costumes we see. I also loved all of specifically the dress that Rachel wears when they're traveling, where it's like all one shade of beige and she's got a giant bow at her throat and all of the layers. I really enjoyed
That bonnet too. She was serving excellent bonnet.
Excellent bonnet face.
Excellent bonnet.
Primo bonnet face.
I couldn't find it, but yeah, please know that Simon Fraser's epaulettes when he leaned over looked like a dick.
You'll see him. You'll see it all, Ruth.
Yeah.
It's all coming for you.
In fact, when you do see it, take a photo of it and send it to me.
I will.
So that we can use that.
So we will be talking more about the costumes in the live show. But for now, Ruth, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
You know, we got to talk about a knitwear every once in a while.
You know.
A knitwear, the knitwear, some knitwear.
All knitwears.
A knit. All knitwears.
Oh.
And also sexy quail costumes and hard hats. Maybe the hard hat is the most significant costume of season 7.
A case could be made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she looks good in it.
Yeah, she does.
All right. Bye.
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 I've got a thing to open for the end reel.
Oh, you do? What is it?
It's a 2 women bitch.
Hell yeah. I'm so
Dos
sad I missed camping this
Senoras.
year.
So did I, but you know what? It's gonna be delicious.
Yeah, it is.
But we're not here to talk about missing camping.
No.
By complete coincidence, every week in August, because these are definitely recorded for every episode and not recorded in one fell swoop for the entire month.
Sure.
We are here to talk about the amazing audio program that we just completed right now in this very second.
And then posted to the internet for your listening pleasure.
Immediately, too. Just no downtime.
Nope.
Just like sent it right from our brains to the internet with no stopgap. Amelia just follows us around with instruments in case we need her.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, that's not terribly far from the truth.
I agree.
It really is. Like, you can just say, "Hey, Amelia, hey, Buzz, can you be here in half an hour with a recorder?" And she's like,
Yeah.
"Can I?"
She did show up at my house last time we did this with a bag full of instruments.
Oh, she did. And I gave her
Yeah,
my
that's right. Because she did My Heart Will Go On from my kitchen, which was
Because
amazing.
She is a ham who is on the loose.
On the loose.
She's a ham on the loose. Anyway, point is, that was a great show, wasn't it, Patty? We did great. We did great.
We always do great. And we would just like to tell you a few things so that then we can get to thanking the really great people.
Yes.
So this amazing piece of content was edited by me, Julie. It was produced by Allison and Julie and other stuff by Allison. Our social media game is tight. And that's thanks to Amelia Ham on the Loose Bazell, as well as all the bad recorder covers. Love you, baby. Mean it. Our artwork is by Laura Barrios, aka Viv Pickles. Our Slack maven is Jenna Pulkowski. You can find us on Facebook.com/PodlanderCast, on Instagram @PodlanderCast. You can find all of our shit there. You can also find us at PodlanderPresents.com, where you can find all sorts of info about our high quality content like this right here. If you like what you heard, please consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Pocket Casts or whatever the hell is new. I don't know, whatever you're listening to right now. And we want to thank all of you for listening, but we especially want to thank our patrons. You can become a patron at patreon.com/PodlanderDrunkcast, where you can support the show, join the Slack, get early episode access, and all sorts of fun bonus content.
Live streams, baby. You can see so many live streams. Bitch, you could have watched us be all geared up to react to the Nuclevi and then be underwhelmed by the Nuclevi reveal in real time.
What a whiff. Thanks to all of our patrons. You all make it possible for us to do all this stupid shit. You know what you're like? You're like taking a shower and sliding into clean sheets.
We are the Buck McKenzie of this podcasting relationship, and you all are the Jem and Mandy smuggling us all the chips and crisps
and combing our beard with a Barbie
biscuits.
brush.
And combing our beard with a Barbie brush.
Mm-hmm.
Julie, did you pick up on they were watching Buck Rogers?
Yes.
I'm obsessed. Anyway, we want to thank all of our patrons. You are all lovely, delicate blossoms and or hardy behemoths of strength, or sensitive souls with beautiful auras, or whatever it is that's going to make you feel good, because we love you and you're the best and you deserve exactly the praise you want.
Mm-hmm.
But we especially want to thank the following lovely folks who sponsor at the level where we say their name in a big fat rush at the end of every episode. Are you ready?
Hell yeah.
Kristen Blanton, Caitlin Gibbons, Katie the Jordi Fishwife, Mindy Newell, Rachel Ravel, Brenda, Allison King, Jock JWS, Sydney Taylor, Snazzy Knack, Lisa Brienne, Julia Gulia, Kathleen Martini, Lauren Tennant, Kelsey Kemp, Emily Day, Betsy. You know what? It's been a while since we've told a Lauren Tennant is not related to David Tennant joke. So I just want to say once again for the record that Lauren Tennant, not related. Not related to David Tennant.
Not related.
Unless she is, in which case, thank you for respecting his privacy. Celebrities need love too. Kelsey Kemp, Emily Day, Betsy English, Caitlin Reddick, Jen Collins, Tina Barnett, Nicole Rodriguez, Kristen, Freckled Fury, Liz and Tinkerbell, Terry Welch, Rochelle Lefevre, Amanda Smith, Amy Gustafson, Rachel Townsend, Kelly Mazzella, Chantel Salters, Tara Lucchino, Viv Pickles, aka Laura, Mary of the Grapefruit, Jenna Bukowski, Ann Gibson, Ruth McCormick, Carol Marlowe, Trish McCrary, Julie DeToy, Jen Lynn, Cannamon, Amanda Newton, Elizabeth Young, and Kiki. The Wise. Stay tuned, bitches, for a mid-season finale live show announcement sometime soonish. We're not in any great rush. The show's not back until next year, y'all. We're not in a hurry to make sure that we get y'all down to the Oasis. To get you all to slip on down to the Oasis. But keep an eye peeled, an ear pricked, a psychic connection with your baby sister open and flowing to find out about more fun stuff you can do with us. In the meantime, we're going to go back to drinking our bevs and loving you all.
See ya.
Hi, folks. Let me see if I can sum up Midnight Burger in about 25 seconds.
Jesus Christ! It'll be fine. So this is how it ends. Eaten by wolves in space.
Pardon me, Gloria. Might my husband and I have a word?
The radio is talking to me.
Really big monster.
Zero irony.
We're surrounded by cavemen.
What the hell is that?
Because you're having a cigarette in 415 million BC.
Where are we?
Space.
Can you narrow that down?
The bad part?
Ava.
Yeah, that didn't work at all. At the nexus of all things, there is a diner. Look for Midnight Burger on your favorite podcasting app or just go to weopenat6.com.